you see these terms, or these will lead to the Cartesian form. And one polar form where you have angle. Wherever you see two vectors are there, they're making certain angle, that is your polar form. So for addition, you have three laws: parallelogram law, you have triangle law, you have polygon law. But most important is your parallelogram law. So just now you don't even have to see the derivations part, these are all not included. Basics of C, these I think by now all of you must be knowing it. When we write, suppose I have written V is equal to -4 meter per second. So V is velocity, that is a physical quantity. The quantities are divided, no? Physical quantities are also divided. So this is a physical quantity, velocity, fine. Minus sign, this is telling me about the direction. This is just giving me idea about the direction. This is not telling me about its speed, how much. -4 is not signifying any speed of the car. That is just telling about the direction, because velocity is a vector quantity, it will have a direction. 4 is just a magnitude, the number itself, without any unit, without any sign, without any physical quantity, that single digit number, you write it as magnitude. And then you have the units. Class, please do have a look at the units, because many questions, you don't remember the formula and you get confused how to solve the question. When you remember the units of it, by just setting up the unit, you finally get the answer. Suppose in the answer in the options, you just see seconds. So somehow what will your aim become? Your aim will become to cancel out all the quantities such that only seconds will be left. So use this technique whenever you forget the formulas in your papers. Otherwise, you get questions and you should be able to solve all the questions. Now the types of paper that have been coming after 2019, you must have seen the previous year's papers. All the questions you should be able to solve. Earlier it was like 30 to 32 questions, even if they were solved, physics was cleared. But now what is required? You have to solve all the 45 questions correctly. Fine. So do not solve all the 45 correctly, but at least 40 plus correctly. Right, to increase up your score. So see, for parallelogram law, this is not important. Derivation part is not at all important. Just remember the final conclusion. Two vectors are there. What does the parallelogram law signify? Two vectors are there. It is representing the adjacent sides of parallelogram, right? Suppose this is like this. This is just depicting the two adjacent sides of parallelogram. So making an angle also, so polar vector also, polar form will also be used. Now, these two are subtending an angle. Their resultant, this vectors and this vector, their resultant will be given by the diagonal if the parallelogram is completed. Suppose I complete this parallelogram law, somewhere here will be the direction, here we'll obtain the diagonal. So this will be the resultant. That's what is the statement of parallelogram law that you all are aware also. And in mathematical form, what is needed is r is equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, where theta is the angle that is subtended by both the vectors. Fine, that's it. But this doesn't complete your answer, because this is just, it will just give you the magnitude. This is the magnitude of the resultant. Fine. For the direction, we use this formula, b tan beta is equal to b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta. But what becomes confusing during exam time or whenever you're solving it, what was a, what was b? Two vectors are there. As I've told you, two vectors are there. Which vector will you consider it as a and which vector you will consider it as b, right? That becomes a question. So see, just go it by the figure. This is resultant. Suppose this is my parallelogram. This was my other vector, which was the other side of the parallelogram. Angle with which the axis is making, the resultant is making an angle, the resultant is subtending an angle with the base, that is beta. That you take it as A. All right. And the rest one will become B automatically. Fine, just remember it this way. Whichever is making an angle, Suppose this is making beta over here. This is your beta which you are calculating. So this vector, whatever is this vector, it can be force, it can be velocity, acceleration, magnetic field, electric field, anything. It can be. This will become A, this will become B. Then you can directly put it into this formula, B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. Your work will be done. You have questions from this part also in your previous years. I hope all of you, we'll do the previous year questions well, because that will be very helpful. Regarding equal vector, negative vector, these basic properties you should remember about parallel vector. Unit vectors are important. Yes, unit vectors, you have plenty of questions in your from your NEET examination. See, vectors, if you write about their magnitude, so vectors whose magnitude is 1, -1, even if you take -2 divided by 2, magnitude will be 1, +1, magnitude is 1. So whose magnitude is 1, and it's not necessarily a number has to be 1. I cap plus 3j cap minus 2j cap, their resultant can also come out to be 1, their magnitude, the resultant's magnitude, right? So this is vectors who have which have unit 1 as their magnitude and can have any direction, in any direction, that we write it as the unit vectors. But the problem is how to write it. The questions from this statement based unit vectors, these are very less, but questions are there. So you have to remember this basic formula, that's it. You put a cap on it to differentiate and distinguish between what is actually present, right? And what is the unit vector, what is the actual vector and what is the unit vector. Take the vector as it is, fine. When I write a bar, see class, there's a difference between all the terms. When I write a vector a with a bar with an arrow on its head, that means this is the complete vector as it is, fine. This is a complete vector as it is. When I write such symbol, or you see in your exam paper of NEET, if you see it is written like this, everything is fine. This part is written boldly like this part, and everything is normal. That is also signifying its magnitude. All right, do not be confused. If the two parallel lines are added, or it is written in bold, both are signifying that these are basically vectors. Vectors magnitudes are taken, fine. So if you take the vector as it is divided by its magnitude, you get its unit vector. That is what is written over here, fine. That is what is meant by it. Then you have certain basic universal unit vectors, I cap, j cap, k cap. These are so important, very basic quantities. You have to know the unit vector along x-axis. Positive x-axis will be plus I cap, negative x-axis will be minus I cap. If it is j cap, the unit vector which we get along j cap. So if it is positive y-axis, we'll write it as plus j cap. If it is negative y-axis, we'll write it as minus j cap. If it is z-axis, then for positive z-axis, we write it as plus k cap. For negative z-axis, we write it as minus k cap. These unit vectors are so important, because here you are otherwise in your subjective board exams, what do? You write along this direction out of the page, or something you can write it in detail, but here you have a very limitation, that is just to click a perfect option, right? So here what the limitation does is that it provides you a specific direction itself, I cap, j cap, k cap, whatever is your answer. In your whole kinematics, this will be used. Entire kinematics, I cap, j cap will be used. Your projectile motion, it will be used. From your 12th standard portion, your magnetics, especially your chapter 4, that will involve this part so much, right? So all of you are aware of the syllabus, so you must be knowing its significance. So addition of these, subtraction, forming their unit vectors, multiplication, their dot product, their cross product, everything is important, fine. Then Cartesian form, see, yes, this is important. The questions are there. If one vector is there. Let's say force is equal to 3i cap plus 5j cap plus 4k cap. Any vector is given to you. So what you are going to do to take its magnitude, final magnitude. If I ask you 3i cap plus 5j cap plus 4k cap, and I ask you, tell me its magnitude, which number will you choose? Will you choose 3? Will you choose 5? Will you choose 4? They are getting added, but they are interrupted by the Cartesian vectors, unit vectors. So we cannot choose a single number and we cannot directly add it because they are vectorical quantities. So what we have to do, take their individual magnitude, square it, then add it, put it under root, that is your answer. Under root a1 square, that means it will become under root 3 square plus 5 square plus 4 square, like this. If it's a negative number, suppose instead of this plus 4, had there been minus 4, what would you do? Instead of plus 4, if there is minus 4, what would you do? You will take minus 4 whole square. That will ultimately become positive at the end. Fine. So this addition is important. Otherwise, these addition, subtraction, these basic questions, these we'll see along the question, because many concepts are there along the questions. Polar form, this I have discussed with you. Yes, inverse trigonometric function, these you have the options. So according to your options only, you will choose. This also we'll see through the questions. Some questions are there. Polygon law and triangle law, no, they are not used as such separately because their resultant answer is same. Under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, tan beta, same thing. For polygon law also you have final resultant as that only. So even if you get a question, you will use the same formula. So no need to do it separately. Just identify it. Otherwise, this is sufficient. Resolution of vectors is important, and resolution, you can get questions from resolution of vectors, especially from your laws of motion. The lesson on laws of motion, from there you can get questions on resolution of vector, direct question. Otherwise, what I am saying, these vector quantities, these vectors, these will be embedded in every concept of you which you will be studying, right? But separate questions are also possible, from which resolution of vectors is one of them. Fine. So resolution of vector, how do you resolve it? Just resolve it along y-axis and x-axis. Now again, same thing. The axis with which the angle is made, we write cos theta to it. All those, because many students in other batch also we had seen, then they were not able to resolve the vector. So all those who are having, whoever is having any issue regarding it, just listen it carefully. And still, if you have any doubts, you can let me know. I'll repeat it. See, if this is a vector, let's say this is some vector r, this is making theta here. So when I'll write down the component, no, there will be two components. One will be perpendicular, one will be parallel, right? One will with the axis, other one perpendicular to it. The axis with which the angle is made, you put cos theta. All right, class, be aware of it. This we put cos theta. I know most of you must be knowing this. This is for those if you have any confusion regarding it. Perpendicular one with which the angle was not made, that becomes sine theta. So this is how you resolve vectors. If it is inclined plane, if you have inclined plane questions, then along the plane and perpendicular to the plane. Except for this, motion on an inclined plane, except for this part, every time you are going to resolve it along y-axis and x-axis. Your aim has to be resolving vectors along x-axis, y-axis. You have questions in electrostatics where a pendulum is given, the two charges are getting separated, so tension is acting along a random angle. Or even if you take pendulum questions, weight is acting downwards, tension is acting along the string, tension is towards the hung point. So there you have to resolve tension until and unless you get the forces along y-axis and x-axis. Make this as a task that you have to do apart from the inclined plane. Otherwise, if any specific requirements are there, that will be mentioned in the paper. And numericals will be also direct. You have to have a good practice of all the values which you are seeing. So yes, this is a cos theta, a sin theta. This is it, how we resolve it. This type of questions, they are present in your NCERT also. That let's see along with the questions. This is also rectangular components. These are not important. Let's just see quickly dot and cross product once. Then let's begin with questions. At least 10 questions minimum we should do, at least from vectors. Uh, See, for multiplication of vectors, don't go into such details, but from this part, no, dot product and cross product, you get theoretical questions also. Like you have questions from which are in the form of statements, as I was saying. Fine, so statement-based questions are also present. Just a second. Yeah, so yes, multiplication of vectors. From this, yes, I was saying the statement-based questions can be asked from this part, dot product and cross product, making if two vectors are parallel, so you will write the angle as theta as 0 degree, and that you can solve it. So directly I'll tell you, let's discuss scalar product, that is dot product. And at the end, we'll see this part because this is important from your theoretical statements. See, when we are writing the scalar product, that is the dot product. For example, work done, we write F dot S. So the way wherever we have dot products involved, final and best way to solve dot product is take the magnitude of the first quantity, take the magnitude of second quantity, multiply both of them along with cos theta. And yes, class, this is also a big confusion in many students, whether it's cos theta in dot and sin theta in cross. Be careful with this. This is, I hope, I know all of you must be knowing this. This is just because some confusions can be retained. So one of them is this also, the way it was no in the x-axis and y-axis, same thing. Cos theta is always associated with your dot products, and sin theta will be associated with your cross products. So whenever you have dot product, you will be using cos theta. So magnitude of A, magnitude of B multiplied by cos theta, whatever angle. Theta is what here? Theta is the angle that vectors A and vectors B, they are subtending. All right. So whatever is given, velocity is given, acceleration is given, forces are mentioned, just directly write it. Yes, they are. These properties are important. Even if you write A dot B and B dot A, it doesn't matter. You can write it. The way we know, write 3 plus 2 and 2 plus 3. Both the manner we get the same answer. You can write this in dot product, fine. And if two vectors are perpendicular, if they are perpendicular in dot product, not cross, in dot product, final answer will be 0. The reason behind is that because when two unit vectors become perpendicular, I dot j is always 0. I dot I will be 1, but when you have I dot j, that will become 0. J dot k dot I, all these are 0. All right. So that's why perpendicular vectors, these become 0. Otherwise, you can take it by 90 degree also. Cos 90 degree is directly 0. And yes, students, those who do not remember the trigonometric values, at least 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, and 120 degree. These many you should remember for all, including cot theta, sec theta, and all. Find all the trigonometric values. So these are parallel vectors. Okay. When you are adding dot products in Cartesian form, all the coefficients just added together and independently added and ultimately write it at the end. For example, I cap vectors added together. Suppose here you have to write the dot product and they are given in addition. So A1 into B1, this will become your one component. A1 into B1, that is, let's say here 4 I cap was written, below 3 I cap was written. So 4 into 3, This is how you are going to write. 4 into 3, 12 you are going to write at there. That will be 12 I cap. Fine. Not I cap, because I cap will become 1. Same way, A2, B2, you will get a number. Here also, A3, B3, you will get a number. And add the n then at. Because all these I, J, K will be eliminated. This will also be clearer, I think, much more when we'll see the question form. These questions are also asked. Cos theta is asked. Questions form we'll see later. Cross product. All right. If two vectors are given, same way, magnitude of first, magnitude of second, along with sine theta. Fine, that's it. Sine theta will come with cross. Cross product is the vector product. Scalar product was dot product. With dot product, you have cos theta associated. Please be clear. Fine, many students in other batches, they get confused when we talk about sine theta and cos theta in dot and cross product. So have a clear mind about when to use cos theta and when to use sine theta. Directions, this is not specific because you know how to find out directions for every single quantity separately, right? Yes, one thing remember, when cross product you're taking, final resultant, no, that will also be a vector quantity, that won't be a scalar quantity. So if a statement is given to you, if some statement is given that this is one quantity, this is another quantity, their resultant is a vector or something, so keep in mind that cross product is used, because that's how only you get vector form. And this is anti-commutative. Anti-commutative means 3 plus 2 cannot be 2 plus 3 this time in cross product. In dot product, it is valid. You add it in this way, you add it in that way, you will get the same answer. In cross product, it differs because mainly of direction. Here, direction has a very, very crucial role because it's a vector, right? Vectors get involved. And wherever you have vectors, you have this problem of directions association with it. So when directions come along with it, so what happens? You have to keep, it's like A cross B becomes one quantity and B cross A becomes other quantity in another direction. So that cannot be same, right? And when we are talking about vector, we have to keep in mind its magnitude, we have to keep in mind its direction. And yes, I dot I was 1, but I cross I becomes 0. J dot J was 1, J cross J becomes 0. K dot K was 1, K cross K becomes 0. When I say IJK, that means I cap, J cap, K cap. So parallel vectors will be 0 here. And this is one rule, class. This is very important, very, very important, this rule. See, just this is the last thing, then we'll move on to the question form. Do have a knowledge of this. All those who have it, well and good. Those who haven't, get it clarified right now only, because this will be used throughout till your last. In modern physics also, this topic will be used if any question gets related to it. Ray optics will be used. Wherever you have vectors, this will be used. Just a method, no, how to write their cross. I cross I dot J you wrote, J dot K you wrote 0, but I cross J doesn't become 1 or 0 here. So how will you write? Just write I, J, K at the corner of your notebook like this independently and start moving clockwise. When you are moving clockwise, all the quantities will become positive, which now how to write it? If you are writing I dot I cross J cross. Yes, Iram.
Ma'am, when does it become 0 and 1? Like I into I becomes 1. And
Yes, I, this one, no? This part, no? I cross I. See,
yeah.
for dot product, it was separate. When we wrote I dot I, that became 1, right?
Okay.
And when we wrote I dot any other quantity, JK, that becomes 0. This is the case for dot product, right?
Dot product.
For when we are talking about cross product, here you only get for parallel vectors. You don't have 1 because of direction, right? So I cross I, it won't be 1, this would be 0. But when we have I cross J or any, you get a third vector, whichever is left. Fine, because
Okay.
all these three vectors are perpendicular to each other. And since in scalar form, we were neglecting the directions, that's why we didn't consider this. Now, since we are talking about vectors, we are keeping the directions as well as in our mind along with the magnitude. So now we'll have to consider that if I and j are, they are crossing, we are taking their cross product. So third will be the z axis, that is the k cap. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank
Oh.
you.
So yes, so the Veram was also asking same thing. I, j, if you're taking their cross, third quantity which is left, you will write. Which is the third quantity that is left? K cap. And what have I told you? If you're going clockwise, write positive. So I cross j will become positive k cap. Same thing, go j cross k. Which is the quantity left? I cap. Write I cap. And since you're going clockwise, it will be plus I cap. Go k cross I cap. What will be the quantity that is left? That is j cap. So if you are going clockwise, this will become plus. That's how you will write. But let's move anti-clockwise. Now you will be writing minus. If it's j cross I, what is the quantity left? K cap, but now with a negative sign. I cross k, which quantity is left? J cap with a negative sign since we are going anti-clockwise. So k cross j, this will become minus I cap. That's how you write. So if any question is asked, let's say random question is asked, j cross k cap. So you will make it in the corner of your notebook, ijk, j cross k. You are going clockwise. So clockwise will be positive and the third quantity left. So plus I cap, like this. Now whichever quantity is asked, you will be doing, you can do it within seconds. Fine. So that's how you take for perpendicular in this case. And last case is the, yes, this is also important for discussion to solve it in determinants form. Let's do one thing. If a question comes, then we'll do it in question form. Otherwise, I'll tell you this at the end. This will come in question form. Let's start with question. I'll do one thing. First, I'll note down the question. You will also note down the question with me. Try it because all of you are aware of the basics. Take 2 minutes time, note it down, try it. All those who get the correct option, write to me in the chat box ABCD, whichever is your right answer. Just take a 2 minutes time, then I'll discuss the solution. And keep on sending me the answers, whatever answers you will get. If it is wrong, I'll tell you to repeat the calculations. If it's correct, then we'll discuss it. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So only Heather and Iram have tried. Just check the answers once. Check your calculations once again. Yes. Second answer, no, which you're writing. Yes, Iram. Now your answer is right. Rania value is correct. Rania always write the option because right now the other part is not of my concern. No, I just need the options. So yes, your magnitude is right. Betsy is also correct. So I think we should discuss it. See, class here. If I say magnitude of sum of two vectors, right? When it is written magnitude of sum of two vectors. So for magnitude, it means I can write just a plus b or a minus b like that. That is depicting the same thing. Here also, if I am saying magnitude of sum of two vectors is equal to magnitude of the difference of the two vectors. So it means, let's say a plus b, this magnitude is equal to a minus b. So let's say the angle between them is some theta or phi. Let's say the angle between them is phi. Fine. So cos phi we'll use. Now I'll write the entire. How do we write the magnitude? Yes, Khalil, right. Correct answer. See, if I expand it, it will become a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi. Same thing will be here also, a square plus b square minus 2ab cos phi. So a square, b square, here also a square, b square, they'll get cancelled. We'll have 4ab cos phi equal to 0 degrees. So cos phi is equal to 0. And when is your theta, any angle, 0 for cos? For 90 degree. So correct all those who have submitted the answer as A, this phi theta, this will become 90 degrees. Note down the solutions, those who haven't. I'm writing till the time I'm writing another question. Yes, Iram, right. Correct answer. I think by now others also should answer. Hurry up. Khalil, Betsy, and Iram. Right, correct answer. C class, others. A cross B's magnitude is equal to root 3 A dot B. So A cross B, how do we write it? Just now we have discussed A cross B is written as AB sine theta. And this is equal, this is written as root 3. A dot B is written as AB cos theta. Directly AB magnitude gets cancelled. Sine theta divided by cos theta, this is equal to root 3. Yes, so this will become equal to tan theta as root 3. One single value you have, 60 degree. So theta will be equal to 60 degree. So that is correct, A option.
And that is 4j cap minus 4I cap.
Yes,
So,
here no? 4j cap minus 4I cap plus alpha k cap. And this is
okay.
2I cap plus 3j cap plus 8k cap. Till now, only Aram's answer is only correct. Others, check your calculations once. Rania Khalil, your answer is right. Okay, I'll discuss it. Some of you are having confusion in this. See, it says that if a vector, this is given, this vector is perpendicular to this vector, right? And out of it, you have to find out the value of alpha. So whenever a perpendicular term is given, always relate it with cos theta. That is your dot product. All right, because when you write, no, if two vectors A becomes perpendicular to B, their dot product A dot B becomes becomes 0. Fine. That's why whenever two vectors are given to you and they are written perpendicular, first within seconds just try to connect it with dot product. If it sets well, usually it sets well with it. If it does not, then think about other methods to solve it. All right. So here also we'll use this only because A dot B is 0. If they are perpendicular, A dot B is 0. That's what we have just seen when we were recapping it. So right now also 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 8k cap dot 4j cap minus 4i cap plus alpha k cap, their dot product will be equal to 0. Now see each quantity with each quantity. We have, this is what is written now. Mm, 4j cap minus. Now see, 4j cap and 2i cap. We cannot solve it together. What did we discuss? We have to solve all the like coefficients together. This is where the mistake was done. In earlier part, no. Most of you were giving answer plus because you were, Heather, you want to ask something?
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't hear the part when you were explaining this A is perpendicular to B, so A dot B will be equal to 0.
Okay, okay. See, this is just exactly whenever two quantities are perpendicular. This is like I dot I was 1. Remember, I dot I was equal to 1, right? But
Yes.
when I wrote I dot J, this became 0. Why? Because all the three axes, this is I cap, which is along X axis. This is J cap along Y axis. This is Z, K cap along Z axis. When we write I dot I, that is parallel. When your A is parallel to B, I dot I, J dot J, all the parallel quantity within the same axis, that will be 1. Then A dot B will become 1. Why? Because I dot I is 1, J dot J is 1, right? K cap dot K cap is 1. This is what it is meaning here. And when I say I dot j, that is the perpendicular one. You can see they are making an angle of 90 degree, all the three axes. So I dot j is 0. So if two vectors are perpendicular, their dot product will also be 0. A is perpendicular to B is meaning the same as I dot j. That is, I is perpendicular to j, A is perpendicular to B. So since I cap dot j cap is 0, so A dot B will also be 0. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. When the two vectors are perpendicular, they can never be in cross product.
See, if you will write it no as perpendicular, you will get a value. Problem is that we don't want a value. If I say A and B, if I use their cross product, A cross B, what will I get? AB sine theta, right? And since we are taking their perpendicular, this will become AB sine 90 degree, right? Which will be equal to AB. So we are still getting AB. We'll get now something on the right hand side to solve. But if we take some value, no, somehow if we have our right hand side as 0, then only it will become a single equation, linear equation with only one variable, that is alpha. And alpha you'll be able to find. Otherwise, what would have happened? If we have written it as cross product, A cross B, you get one quantity. It is not like that you don't get any value. You get a number. You will be having AB right now. If you will be having AB with you, what will you do? You will multiply it. Then also there, that side also you will get alpha. Here also you will get alpha. Alpha square will become, you will not be able to solve the question. But as soon as you make this side as 0, A dot B if you take, that will be 0. A cross B won't be 0. A cross B will be AB. A dot B will be 0. At least your right hand side is solved so that you can shift everything on the right hand side and get the value of alpha. Got it, Heather?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So same thing as I was explaining to Heather, same thing we'll do. Whenever you have questions, we want to reduce the terms. So now also I cap, what are all the like terms together? See, 2 with -4 you will multiply I cap with I cap, because I dot j will become 0. There is no significance of your answer. We want I dot I. So here what you will write, 2 into -4, that is -8. Now you will write 3 and multiplied by 4. 3 into 4. So that will become 12. And which is left now, rest one? 8 with alpha, 8 into alpha. So that becomes plus 8 alpha is equal to 0, right? So here you will have 8 alpha is equal to -4. Alpha will be equal to minus half. So C option was it, I think. Minus half was C, no? Huh. Okay, this is C option. All right, note it down. Any doubts you have? Any one of you, please let me know. Now I'll give you a question from the determinant system, no, that was left to be discussed. With a question, we'll discuss it. And C class, use this portion no as a shortcut, or whenever you are stuck within a question. If you are seeking that somehow you get one and that will ease your question, use this condition. If it is given and if it is used here, then use this.
Ma'am, this question is solved by the determinant method, right?
Yes, you don't directly just solve it.
Yeah.
Proper cross product application. This is just a typical example which came in 2018. I'll discuss it. Just 2 more minutes. Let just all of you try it once, then I'll discuss it. Aram, answer is right. Your answer is right, but in such situations, what will you do in the exam? because they usually what happens when we see all the 4 options, no, 2 options we are able to eliminate it. We are stuck with the way you are not stuck with option A and option D. Similarly, it will arise in every section, chemistry also, bio also. 2 options you'll be left with. Fine. So in such situations, just mark whichever you're sure. Let me discuss it, because this topic I have not even discussed with you. Then one similar question that has also come, I'll give it to you, that you all should try. After this, I'll give you. See, firstly, when it is given, no, this is actually a question that involves your torque. Moment of the force means torque, and torque is given by R cross F. So that's how cross product is involved. Now about a point, if this point is given, no, 2 points are given to you. One is this point and one is this point. So it means we have to take the difference, whatever is the separation. Whenever this is given, no, always write down all your axes, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Form it. So force is given. Force is how much given? 4 I cap plus 5 J cap minus 6 K cap. Khalil, correct. Good. Right answer. R1 will be what? First vector. 2 x-axis. And which unit vector we use? I cap. So 2 I cap plus 0 J cap, nothing. This is 0 J cap minus 3 K cap. Similarly, second R2, this is R1, R2. This is X, that is 2 I cap minus 2 J cap, again minus 2 K cap. You at least have framed your coordinates in terms of proper Cartesian statements. All right. Now see, what is the separation? If I say this is one point R1, this is another point R2. So you will take out their separation. Same thing here also, R1 minus R2 we are going to do. R1 minus R2 we have to do for calculation of moment of force. Moment of force, torque will be given by this only. Whatever will be R1 into R2 cross F. R cross F is the formula. This you all must be remembering it. So yes, so 2 I cap plus 0 J cap minus 3 K cap. Now since I'm using minus, all the signs will change. This will become minus 2 I cap plus 2 J cap plus 2 K cap, right? So what will be the final answer? They'll get cancelled. Only 2 J cap will be left from J cap and minus K cap. So even if you want, you can write it as 0 I cap plus 2 J cap minus K cap. This is R. This is R. F I have. See, this is F and this is R that has to be used. Now see class. First what we are going to do, if it is R cross F, as we have discussed, this applies anti-commutative property. Don't ever write F cross R. This since you know the formula of torque, this is easy. But if you do not know the formula for any quantity, random A cross B, this is given. So never write F cross R or never interchange it. So since it is written, whatever is the first vector, no, why it has a significance? Because put I cap, J cap, K cap. And whatever is given, put the columns accordingly. First vector will be the first vector. Since it is R cross F, we'll write the data about R first. R first. So I cap 0, J cap 2, K cap minus 1. Done. Now force. What was force? 4, no? Yes. So for force, this part will become, now for force we'll write it. So for force we'll write under I cap, we'll put it as 4. This is 5 and this is minus 6. This is what you have with you. Now rest is over. Just focus on this. For torque R cross, that is R cross F. Take I cap. Now when you are considering I cap, then forget, just eliminate this row and eliminate the row of I cap. What is left? These four quantities are left to you. Now you are just concerned with these four. First go with this diagonal, then go with this diagonal. How to write it? I cap you have written, eliminated the row of I cap, the column of I cap, whatever now four are left, just go with this method. So that means you will write 2 into minus 6 minus what? Minus 1 into 5. Is it clear? I'll repeat it in C. 2 multiplied by minus 6 minus 12 you have, and I'll write the number separately. So 2 into minus 6, and you have 5 into minus 1. Two diagonals I've made, 2 into minus 6 and 5 into minus 1. Subtract them. So 2 into minus 6 minus minus 1 into 5. 2 into minus 6 is one quantity. 5 into minus 1, subtract it. When you are writing about J cap, just put a minus J cap. Here I have written no plus I cap. Here put minus J cap and go by the same thing. See, for J cap, what will we do? When we are talking about J cap, eliminate the row and column of J cap. What all quantities are left? 0, minus 6. So they'll be multiplied. 4 minus 1. They will be multiplied. So same method. Now this remains same. 0 into minus 6, right? This is 0 into minus 6 minus 1 into 4. Wherever anyone is having any confusion, please stop me there. I'll repeat it. Fine. Now J cap you can write plus K cap. Just for no J cap, remember you have to put a negative sign. So same thing you have to do for J cap. Eliminate the column and row of K cap. What is left? These four are left. So 0 into 5, one thing, minus 4 into 2, second quantity. So that will be 0 into 5 minus 2 into 4. That's it. Now you just have to solve and simplify the single line. What will it be? Minus 12 minus 5 plus 5. So minus 7 from this whole entire term. 0 minus 6, 0. Here minus in, see, minus 4. Minus 4 into minus plus 4. So plus 4 into minus J cap. Minus 4 J cap. Again 0 into 5, 0. Minus 8. Minus 8 K cap. So I think this was option D, or which one? D or A? D. So D option. Okay? This is D option. That's how you have to write it. One similar question I'll give you that you will solve on your own. Tell me the answer. If any confusion is there while writing the solution, let me know. I'll give you one similar question. Then we'll do one or two questions from polar form as well. Yes, Betsy, right answer. Let me discuss it with all of you. See, two vectors are given, F and R. So same thing, angular momentum is conserved when the torque is constant. Torque is 0. So R cross F, this will be 0 this time. This is a concept from your angular momentum, conservation of angular momentum. So same thing, you will form the determinant system, I cap, j cap, k cap. First vector, R. So write everything about R. 2 minus 6 minus 12. 2 minus 6 minus 12. Other one is alpha 3, 6. This is what you have. Now you just have to solve this part. So with I cap, cut the row of I cap, cut the row of column of I cap. 6 minus 6 into 6 minus 3 into minus 12. This is one quantity which you will get. Yes, Rania. Correct answer, Rania. When we talk about minus j cap, then 2 into minus 6, alpha into minus 12. So 2 into 6 minus alpha into minus 12. This is minus j cap. Lastly, we have for k cap, 2 into 3 plus k cap, always remember minus j cap will only come. Plus k cap, then first 2 into 3 minus alpha into minus 6. Alpha into minus 6. So now if we take alpha common from this part, minus 6, you have minus 36 plus 36, that will become 0. Both the part will cancel each other, 0 I cap, minus 12, this is 12, this is alpha into minus 12, that is minus 12. So plus 12 alpha you have, and this has a whole negative sign. So take minus 12 common, 1 plus alpha j cap will be left. Same way, this is 6, this is minus 6 alpha, that becomes plus 6 alpha. So take plus 6 common, so 1 plus alpha k cap will be left. This will be equal to 0, right? Because there's a condition given to you in the question. So this term, when it will go on the other side, this will also become 0 when we are just taking the magnitude. Only 6, 1 plus alpha, this will be 0. So again, 1 plus alpha will be 0. Alpha will be equal to minus 1. Here you just have your basic mathematics calculation. This was important, this step. So yes, option A is right. Last 1 or 2 questions let's discuss. Yes, so Iram and Khalil, they both have answered correctly. See, in such questions, no, just go by the options. Options are mentioned to you. So see which all options are right. Like B plus C is F. So make the figure B plus C is F. This cannot happen, no? Because we have seen this is not satisfying the parallelogram law. Look at D plus C is F. See, D plus C and F, even if we write F like this, or even if you put it at the diagonal. If you put F at the diagonal, this will be something. This is also not correct, not satisfying the parallelogram law. D plus E as F. D plus E as F. Yes, correct. It's like the two edges of square, the two sides of square, with the diagonal of the square as F, the resultant, right? This is one vector. This is second vector. This is their resultant. Last one, in any ways, we have found our answer, that is C. But B plus E is F. B downwards plus E F. It won't be, right? So we have only our option as C. So in such options, no. Check whether whatever is given to you. All right. By one option, just match it. If it's correct, fine. If not, move ahead to the second option. Because here you will get one very concrete option directly. And this is just based on the pictorial representation of parallelogram law. All right, class. So text me done all those who have completed. As soon as you'll complete this, just text me done. All right, I think most of you have completed. Fine, class. Then it's Thursday today. On Wednesday, we'll start with kinematics, motion in 1D. We'll start, revise it and come. I'll practice most of the questions which we can crave out of it. All right.